My review for today is on 12 Years a Slave, which is a true story of Solomon Northup, who was a free man of color who was kidnapped and sold into slavery in the South. It's got a really great cast of Brad Pitt, Michael Fassbender, Benedict Cumberbatch, Sarah Paulson, and Chiwetel. He was in Serenity. I can't pronounce his name. Don't hold it against me. I have a cheat sheet. Chiwetel Ejiofor. Sounds like a really good cheese. Or really bad cheese. Anyway, the movie starts in like 1841 in Saratoga, New York, where Solomon Northup lives with his wife and his 2 kids, and he's a free man of color, and she's a free woman of color, and they have this great life where he plays the violin at all these fancy-ass hotels, and it seems like a pretty good life. Then, of course, he's just minding his own business one day, and these 2 fancy-ass homosexuals approach him. And they're like, hey, dude, listen, we know you got a good life here in Saratoga, but we want you to come to Washington, D.C., we have like a circus or some shit, I don't really know. We want you to come, you're going to play, you're going to make some money, you're going to get that paper, you're going to bring it home to mama, she's going to cook it up in a pan, whatever. He's all about it. He needs a job, everybody needs a damn job. So he goes at these 2 homos. They don't say that they're homos, but I'm pretty sure they are. I mean, my gaydar's pretty good. I'm getting some vibes from both of these dudes. So they go to Washington, where slavery is still legal, apparently, and they go to this restaurant, and they're like getting them drunk, and I'm like, dude, Solomon Northup, you're about to get your ass raped, because that's what these 2 homos are fixing to do. They like you, they're going to do something bad to you, I can feel it in my bones. So they get him drunk, and he's drunk, and they have to carry him back to the hotel room. And this is what they do from real homo shit, because he's like stroking his face, and he's like, oh, that's such a pretty guy. You play such a nice violin. Anyway, he wakes up in chains, and he's all pissed the fuck off, which he should be, because if I woke up in chains, I'd be pissed the fuck off too. So these guys come in there like, you're a runaway slave, and he's like, no, dude, I'm not a runaway slave. I'm a free man of color. This is my name. Solomon Northup. I'm free. And they're like, no, you're a runaway slave. We're going to take you back to where you come from. And he's like, no, dude, I'm not. Whatever. He's obviously been kidnapped by these 2 homosexuals, and that he's been sold into slavery, and he's posing to somebody he's not. So nobody will listen to him. And eventually all the other guys with him, they're like, dude, quit saying shit like that, because you're just going to make your life worse. There's nothing you can do about it. You just got to go with it. So he's like, oh, fuck. He don't say that, but you can tell he's thinking it. And he's smart. He's very smart. So he gets sold into slavery, and they take him down to New Orleans, which is where I'm from. I don't own no slaves, but, you know, I like movies that are set in New Orleans. It was actually filmed in New Orleans, too. Anyway, back to the point of the story. He gets sold into slavery, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's like 15 giant black cocks. And I'm like, this movie is the tits. This movie has it going on. But don't get too excited, because you're not going to see any more nudity except for the other chick for the rest of the movie. So, whatever. You can pause. You can do a screen cap. You'll probably find some pictures online. 12 Years a Slave, full frontal. Not what the movie's about, but whatever. He eventually gets sold to Sherlock, Benedict Cumberbatch. Which, something wrong with his face, too. I don't know. He's got these lips everybody fucking loves him. He's alright with me. And he's a nice slave owner. He actually listens to Solomon. He doesn't beat him. I don't know. He doesn't beat Solomon. He doesn't really have a lot to do with the slaves, is what I'm saying. He's got like a foreman who's a dick, and his slaves are treated pretty well. So I'm thinking, if I get sold into slavery, Benedict Cumberbatch is the guy I gotta go with, right? So Solomon does such a good job, and he's so smart. It's obviously smart. Everybody picks up on it that, you know, he's living this okay life, even though he's away from his family, and he's not mistreated like you would imagine all the other slaves in the area probably are. He gets a violin from Sherlock, Everything's going okay, but there's this dick-ass carpenter that's building some kind of bullshit. They're building shit this whole fucking movie. I don't know what the fuck they're building. They're always building something. So Solomon is tasked with building this house, slave quarters, workshop, some kind of fucking building with shingles. And he's doing it, and the foreman, who the carpenter, he's a carpenter or something, he's not a fucking foreman, I don't know. He gets all pissed off, they get in this big altercation, he starts beating the shit out of Solomon. Well, Solomon ain't never been beat before. And he is not having it. Because he is a free man, he's not going to stand out and take it because he knows there's a better life somewhere. He takes that whip from that motherfucker and starts beating his ass. It was awesome. He wasn't hitting him as hard as he could have, and he wasn't like lashing him, but I was like, beat that guy's ass! Beat his ass, he's a dick! So he beats him a little bit, and then the guy runs off. He's like, you dead! And trust me, if you ever see these movies where you're like, man, they're saying the N-word a lot, it ain't nothing compared to this movie, because every other word out of somebody's mouth, it's like, no, 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 no. It's like Thanksgiving at my grandparents' house, seriously. So the carpenter obviously wants revenge, so what does he do? He lynches poor Solomon, or he tries to. He strings him up, and then the foreman, who's actually the foreman, comes over and he's like, you can't do that because you're killing the masters, you know, that's his property, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's this whole big shebang where now Solomon isn't safe with Benedict Cumberbatch. He ain't safe with Sherlock no more. Sherlock can't protect him. So in order to protect him, he sells him to Michael Fassbender, who is this dick-ass Phil Robertson Duck Dynasty motherfucker. He's a dick. He feels like he's got this biblical right to own these slaves and to beat their asses and to make them do their work and to rape them and to do all this bullshit to them, and he's horrible. And his wife is Sarah Paulson from American Horror Story. You know who I'm talking about. She's fine. She's fine as hell. I love her. She's awesome. But she is a bitch to fucking hell in this movie. There's this one slave named Patsy that she's super jealous of because Michael Fassbender's in love with her because she picks all his cotton. She throws like a bottle of Jack Daniels at this bitch's head. She won't give her cookies. She don't give her soap. She a bitch. Anyway, life with Michael Fassbender, obviously, you would think it's awesome because he's awesome. No, life with him is terrible. He's so mean. He beats everybody. If they don't pick enough cotton, he beats the shit out of them. It's horrible. It's terrible. Whatever. So then for some reason there's this white slave now. I don't know if he's a slave. He's just a farmhand. It's Garrett Dillahunt from Raising Hope and The Last House on the Left and Winter's Bone. You know him. I like him too. Because he looks kind of dumb. Like I'm smarter than him, and that does it for me. Anyway, him and Solomon get to talking, and Solomon has previously earned some money fiddling because he's like a fiddler or a violinist or something. He's earned some money, so he gives it to Garrett Dillahunt. He's like, listen, dude, I'm going to write this letter because it's taken me like 4 years to get a piece of paper and a pen, and I made some ink out of blackberries. I'm going to write this letter, and I'm going to send it to my family to let them know where I am, to bring my papers, to tell them I'm free. Will you mail it? The guy's like, well, yeah, I'll mail it. Because that's the kind of nice guy I am. Bitch! He don't do none of that. He goes to Michael Fassbender and he's like, listen, this dude's trying to run away from you. He's got these letters. He didn't give it to me yet. He gave me this money. Anyway, that's like Solomon's last chance to get off the fucking plantation, to go back to his family, and it ain't happening. Just when it seems like all hope is lost, Brad Pitt shows up. And I'm like, alright, Brad Pitt's here. He can kill some fucking zombies. He can kill some fucking spies. He look alright for being as old and scraggly as he is. He's got like this beard. He's got this. And it's like 1841. The latest could possibly be, since he's only in captivity for 12 years, is what? 1853? Brad Pitt has this like beautiful highlighted ombre hair. Which way you got your head in? But he's Canadian, so I don't know what the fuck kind of technology y'all got up there. Where it's in like a frozen tundra. So even though Solomon is very, very wary of honkies, he strikes up a friendship with Brad Pitt's character. Because Brad Pitt is always talking about how it's wrong to have the slaves, and how Michael Fassbender mistreats him, and Michael Fassbender's like, dude, go fuck yourself, you're Canadian, what do you know? So, eventually, Solomon says, this is my story. These two homosexuals got me. They sold me down here. I'm a free man. Will you send this letter? If I write this letter, will you send it? Will you get me out of here? I'm not supposed to be here. This is not what's supposed to happen to me. I have a family. I want to get back to them. And Brad Pitt agrees, even though it's really dangerous for him to do so, because he's in the fucking South. And everybody's all slave happy, like Phil Robertson. Probably still is. From Duck Dynasty. No. Shame. And the sheriff of the town comes with a shopkeeper that we see in the beginning of the movie who testifies that, yes, this is Solomon Northrop. This is not this guy Platt he's been posing as. And Michael Fassbender's like, oh, hell no. I bought him. He's mine. I own him. That's my property. But no, the sheriff's not having it. The shopkeeper's not having it. He's like, take me to court, bitch. Come on. I own a shop. You just own a field, a cotton, in this big-ass house of Sarah Paulson. You ain't gonna fuck with me. So the movie finally ends with Solomon finally being reunited with his family. And it's been 12 years, so his little daughter, is grown up. She's got a baby that's named after him, and it's cute as fuck. And his sons are there, and his wife's there, and it's all this big happy reunion. And then, they do a little end credit things where for the rest of his life, he was an abolitionist, and it's just a really good movie. Still very guilty after watching it, but I think that's more to do because I had just watched The Butler too, and it was like, double whammy. I feel bad for being white. So yeah, check it out. And as always, if you have any movie suggestions, leave them down below. And comment, rate, and subscribe. Whatever the fuck you want to do, it's a free country. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace! Oh, fuck.